Doug, thank you so much for being here.
Hey, yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks for being on this podcast. We're excited to have you. For the very few people that don't know who you are,
Yeah.
all right, can you give us a little information? Like, tell us a little bit about who you are.
Yeah, sure. So I'm a realtor with Pacific Sotheby's here in San Clemente. I was born and raised here in San Clemente.
Nice.
Lived here. I'm 49 years old, so I've lived here a while. Been practicing real estate for 25 years here, and married. My wife Tracy, she works with us in the office. Of course, you know that, right?
I know Tracy.
No, that's kind of who we are, or what I am.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I was thinking when I was going through some of the questions I wanted to ask you is like, how did we meet? And it was a referral from Sotheby's.
Yeah, Sotheby's down in San Diego referred me over to you, and
Yeah.
It's been a blessing.
Nice. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Yeah, I think we've done maybe like 10 videos now.
Yeah, we've done from property videos to lifestyle videos, and those are really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're actually, you might be able to hear that. We're actually in a new construction, a new build.
Right.
And tell us a little bit about these 3 homes, really.
So I had an investor that we were working with looking for beachfront property. We found 3 in a row, so we worked together with them, bought the properties, and then it's Mercer Soul Builders, so they built all 3 of these, and we've got 2 different architects on these. Jack Garland's one architect on 2 of them, and Brandon Architects out of Newport's the other one, and they've just done a fantastic job. And they're a little under 4,000 square feet, and they're $8 million a piece, right on the sand.
This is a beautiful home.
Yeah.
So we filmed 2 of them so far. This one's coming up soon. How do you leave a house like this after a full day of work? How do you leave?
You don't. I find myself sitting down here a lot. Just as they were prepping them, we just launched the first one on the market, and the one we're sitting in is the second one we're launching actually this week. And this ocean is just mesmerizing, and I just want to stay here.
Oh my goodness,
So,
this is literally the best location our podcast has ever taken place, for sure.
Some people have posters of goals on their office. I come here. This is the goal, right?
This is awesome.
So this is my poster.
Oh, this is awesome. So I know you've said you've done 25 years of real estate?
Yeah.
How did you get started in real estate?
Actually, my parents were in real estate. So
I know that.
they started San Clemente Real Estate Company. Actually, they started with a small company here and kind of branched off. My dad did back in the early 70s, right? He was a commercial airline pilot, right? But the commercial airline pilots, always had like another job they did. So he got into real estate, and my mom ended up getting into real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were working all the way up until basically when I got into the business in the 90s, they were just on their way out. Okay. And I never actually worked for them. I worked for another company, and then the company that I was working for at that time ended up purchasing their company.
Okay, very nice.
And so we've been in real estate, and the family has been in real estate since the 70s down in this area.
That's great.
Yeah, and they're still alive, so it makes great dinner talk.
That's awesome.
For sure.
So it's second generation real
Yeah.
estate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And actually, we have third because both of my daughters are in it, and Carissa, who's also a licensed agent, my executive assistant, she's phenomenal.
Nice.
And so she'd be third generation.
That's great.
I know. It's really great.
That's fantastic. I don't hear too many stories like that. So that's awesome.
It's fantastic.
And the fact that you, like, third generation, but you're also doing it in your hometown. Like, you grew up here, right?
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
Yeah, so was born and raised here, and then moved away, went to college, and then was working and decided I wanted to get back. I was doing sales, just not real estate, and I wanted to. It kind of attracted me because it was I like the commission. Let's just put it very clearly. It was a nice commission. I thought, well, I should sell houses. Yeah. And
a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. When you get into it, you don't know that, right? It looks so easy from the outside.
The luxurious life of a realtor.
You don't realize all of the blood, sweat, and tears. But it was a natural. I already knew the city, so. But ironically, I started working in Laguna Niguel and Dana Point. That's where the company was. I started, so I was actually out of the area and was doing sales in both there and then in San Clemente. So it's really been the whole southern tip of Orange County. And during that market, that was the foreclosure market, right? That was the 90s, and everything was short sales. So we were doing short sales. I was personally doing short sales with the partner, Robert Frejo, from Tracy, California to the Mexican border. I mean,
Wow.
we had to cover a big territory. And so that kind of cut my teeth on volume because we were doing a lot of volume back then. And then as I kind of aged through the business, I just honed it down smaller and smaller.
Sure.
And now I really like to specialize in San Clemente, Dana Point, San Juan, just kind of the coastal communities.
Yeah, and it's great that it's your hometown. Like, it's great that you were born or raised here at least.
Yeah, it is. It's nice because we like to support like the high schools and
Yeah.
the schools and people I went. Still teachers there now,
Nice.
and some of my teachers were still there.
That's great.
I do like the hometown kind
Yeah.
of feel. I've been blessed with that. Yeah,
That's awesome.
And it's a great city to sell in. I'm sure if the city wasn't this nice, I might have moved to a city that was this nice to sell.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got beautiful property all
Yeah.
along the coast, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, we have from 400,000 to 20 million. So
Got it.
we're really blessed with having a wide spectrum.
Now, do me a favor. Can you clarify? Like, is it San Clemente or San Clemente? I've heard it said both different ways.
I say San Clemente,
Okay.
but I've been corrected in my office.
Really?
Alicia, who works for us, who speaks Spanish fluently, it's a big joke in the office. She pronounces all of the names properly, and I mispronounce a lot of the names that I've grown up mispronouncing them as a kid. So, I mean, San Clemente is what I say,
Okay,
but
okay.
you talk to Alicia and it's San Clemente.
But that's most of the locals say San Clemente?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But if it's a Spanish word, then you say it the other way. Okay.
You say
hey, that happens all along the coast. Like, it's not
Yeah,
just here.
exactly.
It happens in Carlsbad, Del Mar, everywhere. Everyone says it a little differently.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I just wanted to know how the locals say it. So
Yeah.
it's San Clemente.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So talk to me about your success. Like,
Sure.
you guys are doing great. You guys work hard. You guys have a great team. Talk to me a little bit about your team. I know you touched on that, but also talk about your volume, if you could.
Yeah, sure. So last year in 2018, we did 142 million with the team, right?
Nice.
And the team at that year consisted of 5, maybe 6 agents that work with me. Kind of each have their independent business.
Nice.
They work underneath us, and then I have a transaction coordinator, and then we had 2 marketing people as
Nice.
well, and then Carissa, my executive assistant. So
Yeah.
between that, we handled a considerable amount of volume in the area, and we've been pretty consistent over the last, let's say, 3 or 4 years in the 100 million plus volume.
Nice.
So we've been lucky.
Nice. And you guys just moved over.
Yeah, we moved over
Companies?
to Sotheby's
Okay.
a year ago. It was, we have a lot of luxury property in San Clemente and Dana Point and Monarch Beach, and I've been with 3 different companies, and we're trying to find, we're trying to find the right fit for the products that we represent, and for us, Sotheby's was a natural move for us to go and brand ourselves. It's
Yeah.
nice having them behind me. It's actually the first time I've had a company that I'm not trying to brag, but it's way bigger than me, right?
Sure.
And so often the previous 3 companies I had, I was more branding them in the area. They were new to San Clemente, so I was having to brand them in the name, and not everyone of the area people knew it. The Sotheby's name, I don't have to do that anymore. I do
Nice.
like that, and I like their network. We've already had referrals from San Francisco, Rancho Santa Fe, New Mexico, Arizona. They have a pretty nice network that
Yeah.
everyone has a network. This one's effective. I've already seen
Nice.
it in less than a year, so
Wow.
I really like that.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
What makes you so passionate about real estate?
Well, there's 2 things. I'm very competitive, right? So I'm just competitive to make, and so that drives me a lot, just to be the best. I like to have the best marketing. That's why you're here. It's why I have 2 in-house marketing people on top of the support that my company gives me, and I like seeing a really great presentation of a product, and I like seeing it through the sale. I enjoy the process of listing houses and selling houses. I'm fascinated by architecture, so
Nice.
all those kind of things play into it.
Yeah.
Plus, it's in San Clemente. It's my hometown, so
Right.
it feels natural to me.
Sure.
You know,
Where would you say that competitive nature stemmed from?
I don't know. I've been working since I've been 8 years old.
Okay.
Like, no kidding.
Yeah.
Like, I was a Sun Post newspaper boy at 8 years old, delivering papers. The paper
nice.
still exists, and that's the last time I did not have a job. So I'm competitive with myself. Not necessarily because I have a really great. I feel like I have a really great network of agents that I like here. I like all of my coworker agents that are. We have a great relationship between not only the top producers but the new people as well.
Right.
I mean, that I enjoy that part of the business. I enjoy that relationship. So the competitiveness is not with them. You know,
Okay.
I have some very close friends that are great agents. I never feel like I'm competing against them. It's just within myself.
Okay. Yeah.
Of either sales volume or being, and it's not always volume. Sometimes it's tapering it down. How do I do this in 4 days a
Got it.
week? You know, how do I? Because when you're at your point in your career and you're trying to figure out different avenues, you're looking at. When I did short sales, I never worked weekends because I was always banks, right? It's Monday
sure.
through Friday.
That makes sense,
So
yeah.
I've always tried to really taper my career to where I'm not always working on the weekends. Hence, that's why I have a team to kind of handle the flow of our business.
Yep.
You know, it's changed. The business is much more the speed that you have to get back to clients and the speed that you have to have on knowledge of product and responding to counteroffers. It's fast. It's faster than it's ever been. It's probably just going to continue to get faster. So having a team allows us to have that speed
Nice.
and still have the level of service that we need.
And how do you balance, like, maybe I've seen teams where there's just too many people on the team, right?
Yeah.
And then there's some where just not enough. So
Right.
how do you find that balance?
Well, I think the key is for us. My team members that are on there, they have their own business,
Okay.
right? They have their own business. They can handle more, which is nice. So they handle the business that I can't handle, and I think the balance for us, we're comfortable where we're at.
Nice.
I was in the mode of maybe I should grow this to a really big machine, and then I could see the service level diminishing by
Sure.
by
Yeah, that's what I
growing
mean,
that,
yeah.
and it wasn't who I wanted to be. I wanted to be more of a service agent and have enough time to deal with the properties, not just sales volume. And I have a lot of admiration for those agents that do a lot of volume, you know, a lot of transactions. I just figured out real quickly as I started to expand that way, that's not me.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think you have to do it. Some people are great managers, and they can manage that many agents. I know I'm not. I know I'm a great real estate agent.
Nice.
I'm very clear I'm not a great manager of an office like that.
Got it. Oh, being self-aware is a big part of what's making you successful, I would say.
Correct.
Right?
It's the same thing. I know that that I'm not great at marketing in the sense that there's other people that are much better than me.
Sure.
I have all the tools that you have. I have really expensive cameras because I'm really jealous. I have drones that are I went out and bought thousands of dollars of drones.
Yeah.
But I do that for fun. Like,
Right.
I don't have the skill set
Sure.
that you have, or that my marketing team has, or even that my transaction coordinator.
Right.
You know, she has a really great skill set on managing contracts and making sure everything's handled properly as we go through. My skill set is here, you know, knowing this product and knowing this, knowing everything about, like, we're on Beach Road, knowing
Right.
everything about
Right.
Beach Road, foundations, roads, and details, and
Right.
that's my job.
Sure.
You know,
I mean, I would definitely say that we felt that, our team has felt that working with you guys. It's like you guys are very professional. You guys gel really well. There's never this hiccups or this postponing or anything like that. It's very, very fluid in how you guys operate. So successful team, doing well. What do you attribute all that to?
well, I think you have to have fun doing it. You have to be professional while you do it as well. I mean,
And you're not a jerk, which is great.
well, yeah. Thank you for saying
No,
that.
really. We deal with a lot of realtors.
But
You're
I've had a
super,
philosophy
super
from
good guy.
day one because, and I've taught this to newer agents that work with me and work underneath me. We all work together, right? So the really great agent, like someone like Tim Smith, who's a
Right.
very high profile agent, to somebody that's a brand new agent. I have respect for both of them, right? And you have to treat them with that kind of respect. I always want to respond to their calls and answer them.
Right.
And if they have questions, I want to be able to get back to them with no ego. I love to try and take ego out of it, because the
Yeah.
reality is, I think once you step into it and you battle against an agent, or there's a problem where you burn a bridge, the next day, the next week, that agent's going to have a listing that your client wants, and now you're in a really tough pickle.
Sure.
Because you let your ego stomp all over something for no reason. And
Right.
so I think it's really great to take a professional approach.
Yep.
Because stuff's gonna go wrong.
Sure.
And stuff's gonna go sideways, and stuff's gonna be amazingly awesome,
Right.
and all in the middle. So if you have kind of a steady pace towards it, because it's my job to take the stress out of all these transactions. And on top of it, the other agents. I don't want everyone spinning out. We can control the transaction. We can move
Right.
through it, and everyone can get what they want at the end. As long as we keep it kind of mellow. And I think if I teach that to my agents, and we have that philosophy within the office, that's why the team kind of has that kind of easy vibe, right?
Right.
Because we try and take some of that hysterical emotion out of a transaction. But we take a lot of brunt, right? As an agent, you take a lot of punches,
Right.
and I think the good agents know how to take the punches.
Right. You guys are tough, right? You got to negotiate. You have to still do all those things, but yet you guys are also, like you said, you have that easygoing vibe as well.
Yeah, no, you have to negotiate for your client. You've got to know your stuff. You got to know your contracts. You got to know your product, and you have to diagnose the personalities that you're dealing with. You
Right.
have to know that. I mean, that should be just required 101. But when you get above that, that's where the real good agents separate themselves, and it's easy to see that, when you deal with it. It's a pleasure working with other agents that
Right.
that see that.
So, we talked about just there's different types of agents. There's agents that are coming on just this year, this month,
Yeah.
today even,
Yeah.
and agents who've been around forever. So in your experience, what's maybe different now that you didn't think would be your experience in real estate that maybe when you first started you had no idea about?
Well, when I went into real estate, so I was Mike Ferry is a real estate kind of guru,
Yeah.
and it was cold calling, and I followed that, and I cold called. I had double headsets. I mean, that was my deal. I was
Double.
cold calling all over the place, and I was grinding, or I was knocking doors. I wasn't a big fan of knocking doors because I'm somewhat introverted.
Okay.
When people meet me, they're like, oh,
You're an extroverted introvert.
it's hard.
Right.
Professionally, I'm extroverted, right?
Right.
But just personally, I'm introverted. So sometimes that face-to-face was hard for me. But on the phone, I was totally fine with that. And I really got into understanding that phone and working with the clients, that is non-existent right now. I know people still cold call, but the rules have all changed. And so that's completely different.
Wow.
I think that the difference between us doing the phones is probably equivalent to agents working Facebook and Instagram and
Really? Okay.
the social media.
Yeah.
The newer, younger agents are so skilled at working social media to
Right.
build their base or to build their interest level, and the older agents, usually aren't. That's why I have a 27-year-old running all of my social media, because to her it's so simple,
Second
right?
nature.
And it's fantastic. And to me, the phones were so simple. It was such a easy way to generate income.
Sure.
That's, I think, the difference that you're seeing between
Okay.
the newer agent coming into the job, and if they're not into social media, there's other ways that they're gaining business right now. But
Right.
you have to you have to prospect at some point,
Right.
and you have to get business. It just doesn't come to you.
So for that new agent, what's some advice you would give them?
It's funny. I just had a phone call with an agent that was from San Diego. One of my good friend. He's a good friend. He worked for me, and now he's working in San Diego. And we were talking about how to stay in touch with clients, right? And I said, don't get gimmicky. People really don't want gimmicks right now, and they don't want tons and tons of information. They just don't have time.
Right.
That's also changed. I mean, when we send information to people, they have time to read a page now. It seems like maybe a page or two. They just don't have a lot of time. And so keep it simple, keep it genuine though. Definitely be genuine.
Okay.
You can read right through salesy people.
For sure.
A house does not usually need to be sold, right? They know it within 10 seconds, 15 seconds, whether they walked into it. But I have been present with agents that feel that this needs to be sold and it's very salesy. I've watched their careers for 25 years. They're usually pretty short-lived. You know, they kind of come and go. They never really make it beyond that because I just don't think that people, they just want to be able to trust somebody. They want some realism. There's so much data out there now that wasn't when I started, right? I started and they were just ending the books. Right, the MLS books where there wasn't even they weren't on the computer yet, and it was just coming onto our computers. And these days consumers have so much information, but they need an advocate or they need a guide or they need somebody to help them digest that information. And when you get too salesy, you lose that.
So, talking about digesting that information and then giving the client, your viewers or whatever, something they can digest easier. Talk to me about video and how you're doing the green report. Is that right?
Well, the green sheet is something that's a comp report that we send out to them. But the video it's hard because video is definitely where we're moving to, right? And it's not where we've moved there. We're not moving there. We've already moved to video, and people want they want to see motion in pictures, and they want to see. They want to see more than just the staged pictures, and that's why sometimes some of the candid stuff is becoming popular, right? Because the stage stuff is too staged, right? So I just saw somebody was reading an article on Yelp. They don't like people that have all 5-star reviews. They want to see some bad reviews.
Really?
You know, and it's so funny because they find that more realistic, right?
Okay,
you
that
know,
makes
when
sense.
you're reading something and it all looks rosy. And the nice thing that video gives you something completely different that you may capture. That's why we like the lifestyle videos, because we want to capture kind of like, okay, San Clemente, Dana Point, we're sitting in Capo Beach, right? Which is in the middle of the two.
Right.
What's the differences of the cities? And that's why we paid for the lifestyle videos, because we wanted to share that. And I think the only way that you share that now is through a video.
Right.
I don't think they're going to sit there and they can go online and read about it, but they can look at a short video for, 30 seconds, 3 minutes, and then know, oh, that's a great little cute town. I want to visit it. Just enough to make them want to be interested, right? That's what we're trying to do.
And so you guys are using video in that way, properties, lifestyle, destination. I still want to touch on that report that you do. I honestly, as a consumer.
Well, are you talking about the short?
Your Facebook Live that you do. That's awesome.
That's actually not the green sheet. So that's actually Stephen Thomas puts out a report in Orange County. Does a phenomenal job at compiling massive amounts of data and does a report. And so it's a report that I can purchase from him, and then he allows us to reface it, right? It's a great system. And when I do that, I use BombBomb to send out videos. It's very easy. But I find if I give I used to send out the reports just by themselves. And then I started doing it with a short message from me, kind of giving the on the ground, like here's Stephen's report, but here's the nuts and bolts, what I'm feeling on the ground or what I might see coming, and then all of a sudden that really picked up in looks on it, and people commenting or replying back. And sometimes my clients just, hey, Doug, good to see you. You got a lot more gray hair. They're just like, interacting. They just see my face and like, okay, good to see Doug. And I try and mix it up on the locations a little bit, but I think the message is clear to get to the client, so they hear it from me and not just reading a report. And a lot of them, we know because of sometimes the way they click on things, they don't click through the report. They'll watch the video and then they're off and moving.
Well, I see stuff all the time, and I actually watch those videos. They're really informative, and I feel like you put it in a way that I can understand it, and I don't necessarily have to be some sort of real estate expert.
Well, they're not scripted, so nothing's scripted on those videos. I read his report. I tell you exactly on my gut, like literally that week, what am I feeling in real estate? Like the one we did this morning.
Yeah, so. Right on. So you're using a lot of video. You're on video here today. We appreciate that. Where do you see video going in real estate specifically?
I know that we're trying to incorporate it more and more. What I do see is maybe the platforms that we expose properties on, like Zillow and the MLS, the MLS and all the different places that consumers see it. I see that kind of growing, or they're more accepting. Where I would love to see it go personally is we still do the board meetings, right? Everyone
Yes.
goes and does the board meetings. There's a lot to say about that. It's social. People joke with me because I haven't attended them in a long time, and it's just because I'm very busy in that time. But whenever I go to those meetings, they're really informative. Where I'd love to see video go is people get up and pitch their properties.
Yes, pitch session.
I would love to see a 15-second video pitch of the property
Got it.
where I can go through and we can see 20 pitches with pictures or video, so
Nice,
it's going so
nice.
that I can say, oh, cool, I want to go see that property, or oh, that's great, because they're pitching the property, and it would be even better that if I'm unable to make the meeting,
Right.
that I have somewhere to go and log on and be like, what's the pitch today? And I can go through 15, 20 videos for the week and say, oh, that's great, I'm going
That's
to go see
amazing.
those.
Yeah.
To me, that would be so much more useful.
Right.
And also, again, like Instagram or anything, grabs my attention,
Right.
you know, and I would love to see video go there for,
Right.
for us and our board and our agents.
That's a great idea. I mean, most of the time that we're on our phones or looking at a video is on our time. So it's not like everybody's going on Instagram at the same time. We just go on at different times generally. So in this case, it's great because it allows the realtor to get on something on a platform where maybe they're at home and they're able to look at it versus having to go to a pitch session every time at the same time.
If I had an Instagram for pitching and it just had videos and I could scroll through it
That's
in the
great.
morning,
Yeah.
so I get royalties if you do that. Right? But if I had that, I could go
Yeah.
through the
Yeah.
properties and then
Yeah.
I could pick out, and then I could map my properties, and I'd be like, great,
Easy.
and I'm off and I'm running. Right?
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to see
Taking-
video go there.
Taking notes on that.
It'd be easy. It'd save time for all
For
of us,
sure.
and it would still keep it personal.
Right.
I would know when somebody I know is pitching a property and what they've
Right.
got. But I would like to see some shots, and
Yeah.
even if it's
Right.
raw footage, you know.
So we got to know a little bit of the professional side of Doug. Tell us a little bit about maybe the personal side. I know you surf. What are some other fun things
So
you like to do?
when time allotted,
yeah.
I do love to surf.
Nice.
I've got a 1978 Westphalia van, which is the same van that I had my first van when I learned how to drive. That's what I got.
That's
my
awesome.
first car.
You still have that one?
No, I sold it and then regretted it ever since.
Got it.
Like I sold it after college, and then for my 40th birthday went out and bought the same
Perfect.
make and model, and then restored it some, and I use that to go to San Onofre. So I'd love to go to San Onofre, go surfing, and it's crazy when you get in that. I'm driving down the streets of San Clemente, and it's like I am right back in high school. I got
Wow.
my boards on top, and we're heading down, and it's really nostalgic for me to do that. So I do like to surf. We like to go out to the desert a lot. Tracy and I love to
Yeah.
go to Palm Springs.
You guys from Palm Springs?
Yeah,
Just
we
like
have
a week
pla-
ago, right?
Yeah, we have a place out there, and Tracy's done a fabulous job in restoring it all mid-century, like
That's
1970s. So that's kind of our escape out there. And then we like to travel. So Tracy and I like to go to Mexico. We go to Mexico and
Yeah.
a lot of different places in South America. So that's kind of our getaway. But when we
That's
can,
awesome.
and they're usually quick, but that's what we like to do.
Nice. Do you like to read?
I'll tell you, I like to listen.
Okay,
More than I
audiobooks.
like to read. Yeah, I'll listen to audiobooks. I love listening to audiobooks, especially if it's especially if it's the author reading it, right?
Nice.
So, like I just listened to Trevor Noah's book, and I like Trevor a
cool.
lot. And,
Yeah,
and
he's a
when,
funny guy.
when they read it, yeah, it is fantastic. If I do read, a lot of times I'll read and I'll listen to the audiobook. I got
Yeah.
a tip from an agent that was with Keller Williams that was reading and then listening at the same time. And I found that really, really
Wow.
helpful. So he
hadn't even thought
would get
about
an
that.
audiobook, and then he'd speed it up to like 1.5, and then he'd read through it. And I always have trouble staying on task with reading.
Sure.
I either get tired or I daydream. You know, I
Right,
start thinking
right,
about the
right,
subject,
right.
and I'm off planning my
Yeah.
life, and I'm still supposed to be reading.
Can relate
with
to
the,
that.
With the audiobook playing in the background, I've been able to burn through books at a much faster rate
Wow.
and retain a lot. And so it was a fantastic. I wish I could remember his name. He's a huge agent, does like 900
Wow.
million transactions up in Washington. But That was the best tip I've
So you're
gotten.
playing it in the background.
Yeah.
And it's not like understandable, but it's playing, or
No,
because
no,
it's
no.
going
It's just
fast.
I buy the book, I buy the hard copy,
Okay.
and I buy Audible.
Right.
So I have Audible, and then so I'll read the book and I'll play
same
Audible
time.
at the same time,
Oh,
and it reads right
simultaneously.
along with
Got
you.
it.
But a lot of times I'll take it from just a standard speed. I'll speed it up to like 1.5, 1.25.
Got it.
So it's
To
a little
speed you up.
faster. Yeah, it speeds up, and I can read through the
okay.
page. But it's
That's
really, really
pretty
great.
smart.
And then I can take notes. It's almost like getting a lecture.
Yeah.
At the same time. So if I start to daydream,
Take notes, go back.
I'm still hearing them, and it's keeping me on
Smart.
track. And then I'm back onto the page. So
I need to pay you for this podcast.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
teaching me some
no,
mind-blowing
that
techniques.
That was a great tip. That I
Wow.
got. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna actually do that. I've been trying to do Audible, but I love holding a book.
Yeah.
And I love being able to underline.
Highlight it and
Yeah.
all that. Yeah. This is the best of both worlds. Yeah.
Nice. So Doug, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Well, next 5 years, we want to continue to grow. We want to continue to expand our luxury market, right, down in Beach Road and Dana Point. I do see myself networking more. I want to take advantage of this Sotheby's network. We're headed up to Vancouver for their annual, or I guess I do it every 2 years,
Nice.
networking conference. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm actually looking forward to maybe handling transactions in between different clients outside of this area.
Sure.
But still staying very focused
Right.
here. So I think that's our plan. I don't want to grow the team. I want to keep it nice and I like the size that it is. It's
Right.
very manageable.
Sure.
Because we want to be very service oriented. We have basically we are at almost a one-to-one basis with the staff member
Wow,
to a team.
that's awesome.
To a team member, but that's where I see myself kind of going.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you mentioned you wanted to take your videographer to film the whole process.
Yeah, to
I think,
film that whole process.
in Vancouver.
Yeah, to
Done.
Vancouver.
We'll do it.
We've never been there, so we're looking forward to it. Yeah.
Hey, Doug, I really appreciate your time. I know
Hey.
you're a busy man.
No. Thank you.
And thanks for being on the podcast today.
No, we appreciate all your help, and the videos you do are just fantastic. So we really appreciate all of that assistance.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, awesome.
All right.
Thanks.